Welcome to Be Bold Branding. I'm Tanya Eberhardt, founder of BrandFace, and we help real estate agents, business owners, and entrepreneurs differentiate themselves, and we do that through personal branding.
Hi, folks. I'm Michael Carr. I'm the COO of BrandFace. I was a client before I became a partner in the only comprehensive brand building system on the globe. And we do these to help you take the fear out of putting yourself out there.
And talk about fear and overcoming some fears. Man, you guys are going to love this story today because I know many of you love this guy. We are so happy to introduce Ricky Carruth. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about him, and then you'll get to hear from him most of the rest of the time today, guys. Okay, so Ricky has been in real estate since 2002. He was a self-made millionaire by the time he was 23 years old. Now, don't get too excited about that because then he bankrupt by 25. Okay. He learned what not to do, as many of us have, myself included, and Michael as well. In 2008, he started to build his business on his mantra of relationships over transactions. We support that 100%. By 2014, he was selling over 100 transactions a year and as a single agent, and has done that every year since then. In 2017, he wrote 2 books. And in 2014, 17, and 18, he was the #1 RE/MAX agent in the state of Alabama. One of his books is called Zero to Diamond, and he's going to talk a little bit about that today. And also with over 10,000 agents in his free coaching program. We're going to talk about why he did the free coaching program. His mission is to reduce the failure rate in the real estate industry while continuing to sell real estate in his local market of Orange Beach, Alabama. Okay, so that's a long intro there, but that's a big, long story. Ricky Carruth, welcome to Fearless Friday. We're so happy to have you.
I am super excited to be here. Thank you.
All right, Ricky, we're going to jump right in. We're going to ask you some questions, because this is Fearless Friday, right? And then you just take the floor from there and then speaking your own words about some of your own experiences in life, right? And so a lot of the people will be watching this, we know, have a fear of putting themselves out there. And one of the things that they fear about a lot of times is failure. And those of us who have fallen and gotten back up know the difference in that. But I want to ask you, like, when it comes to overcoming fear, what do you think was your lowest point? And what did you do? What do you think the #1 thing was that you did to overcome that, to rebuild?
Well, to be honest with you, I think that I always stay in a state of fear because I'm always upgrading what I'm doing, so I'm always looking for something that scares me. So I'm never really out of that fearful state, because I believe that, fear, everything people are scared of, fear, rejection, sounding dumb, all those, failure, all those are little pieces of the recipe of success. Like if success was a recipe, it'd be like, 2 tablespoons of fear, a quart of failure, a gallon of sounding dumb, like all those things combined are actually what creates success. And, everybody's scared of the things that are going to make them successful, because the fear is, you should be drawn to the fear. So, for example, like, in the beginning of your career, you got to talk to strangers, and you got to pretend like you've known them forever. Because if you sound fearful, if you sound nervous or uptight or scared, then they're going to sense that. And then they're going to be nervous and they're going to think, what is this guy being nervous about? Now I'm nervous. I don't know if I want to do a deal with this person. I'm very nervous because you sound nervous, and really there's nothing to be nervous about or fearful about. But in the beginning, you got to talk to strangers. And so you're fearful of that. Okay. But once you do it, you realize there's nothing to be scared of, and that people are nice and people want your help and people need you. And then when you finally realize that you were scared of nothing and that people actually need you, now it comes down to you not facing your fears is actually preventing you from helping more people, And so now you're in a situation where, there's all kinds of people. There's an unlimited amount of people that need your help, but you're too scared to go talk to them. And so you got to wrap your head around that and break through that. So it's stages, you know, everything is stages, you know, like cold calling, you know, in the beginning, you're really scared. You don't want to make the call. Then you go to the next stage, which is you made the call, you sounded nervous, but it didn't kill you. Then the next stage is, okay, this is not as bad as I think. So you make another call. And then, you know, you have somebody hang up on you. That wasn't so bad. I can still make calls. I didn't die. And so you keep going. And then you get to the part where you're kind of numb of being scared of the calls, but now you got to figure out what to say. So now we're not scared to make calls. We're making the calls. We know what to say, but now we sound scripted because we're still going through the stages. Then you have to go through that stage for a while to get to the part where now we know what to say. We just need to figure out how to say it. Then you go to the next stage, which is reading the people, reading the other person on the phone as you're going along and adjusting and tweaking your conversation to make it flow. All the way to the part of the highest, you know, stage of that progression, which is making people feel super comfortable with you. You know, but it's stages. The beginning stage starts with being really scared, but the ending stage is you're very comfortable. You make them feel comfortable and everything's great. And you're really good at it. Then it's like you master that. Like for me, it's like, okay, I master that. Well, now I'm going to go, you know, write books and do social media. That's scary. Just to put yourself out there, you know, post your picture and post videos and stuff. That's not fun to do the very first time you do it. Something you got to do, something you got to break through those stages. And then now I'm into the public speaking and doing a bunch of different things publicly. You know, that was a whole nother, you know, set of fears that I had to break through. Now I'm past that, you know, so now I'm looking for where's the next little fearful, you know, thing. I'm always upgrading what I'm doing to find the thing that scares me the most so that I can, because I know that whatever scares me the most is what's going to make me the most successful. Yes. So I'm just like a torpedo going straight for the fear as fast as I possibly can. You know, once I conquer that situation, now where's the next scary thing at? And I'm just trying to dominate each scary thing and knock them down like dominoes.
Yeah, no, I love that. In fact, I love that so much. The very room that we're sitting in just goes right along with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right there. And we keep that. We keep that in the room right here because we believe the exact same thing. So if you believe fear is a great motivator when channeled correct.
Yeah, it's got to be a motivator. And, you know, when you think about that, what you fear makes you successful. Okay, now you're sitting in a room scared to make calls, you know, but you know that's what's going to make you successful. So now you got to be sitting here thinking, man, I'm the most selfish person in the world because of the little I won't be a little uncomfortable to succeed. You know, like I'm letting a little uncomfortableness stop me from succeeding so that I can provide for my family. So now I'm just letting my family suffer because of me not willing to be a little uncomfortable, you know, and talk to somebody I don't know, which isn't going to punch me in the face or cut me or break my neck or, you know what I mean? Like I'm not going to the nobody has ever died for making a cold call or even went to the hospital. You know what I mean? So
not that we know of. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. And then the other, I was thinking as you were talking about this earlier of at some point you'd start to feel selfish because if you don't do what you know you should be doing, all the people out there who need your help don't get it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true too.
Your coworkers want to see you succeed. Your broker wants to see you succeed. Your friends and family want to see you succeed. Your kids, your husband, your mom, your dad, everybody wants to see you succeed. And you're sitting around not making your calls because you're scared of what? You know, every time I ask somebody, what are you scared? You know, I'm scared to make calls. What scares you about it? I don't know. That's the most common.
That's always the answer. Yes.
Right.
The second most frequent answer is rejection. They're just scared of rejection.
Oh yeah.
Got it.
And so then I come back and say, what's so bad about that? What does that do? You know, like that's actually part of the process because your job, part of your job is to filter through the entire population to find that 20 to 30% of the population that want to work with you. So that 80% of people that you talk to either don't like you or already have an agent or whatever. They're just not going to do business with you. but there's this 20 to 30% who love you and will do business with you forever. And you can never get to all of them. You know,
Right.
like it's never ending. You can never get to all those people. So you have full job security for the rest of your life. You know, it's just completely unlimited. It's a sea. It's kind of like trying to drink the ocean, you know, like it's just never going to happen. So no, it's not that you start feeling selfish. It's the fact that you are selfish, whether you think it or feel it or whatever the case may be. You are selfish when you don't do the things that you know you need to do to be successful. And a lot of people say, oh, cold calling, that's like caveman kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, well, I'm not necessarily talking about cold calling. Like you won't even call people, you won't even you won't even follow up with leads, that have contacted you, you won't even call your sphere. Like we're not like, let's take cold calling out of it. You won't even call, your PE teacher from high school and see how he's doing and see if there's something that you can do for him now that you're in real estate, or, it's nuts, so it's crazy. The numbers too, I heard that the average agent makes $27,000 a year, under 2-year agent makes an average of $8,000 a year. And 90% of agents aren't in business after 5 years. What in the world is going on? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
we talk about it all the time. It's amazing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I think we've listened to a lot of the agents that are in our program too. And what I hear a lot is, well, my neighbor was doing this and they sold this $1 million house and then they didn't work for 3 months. Right. But that's so not typical. It is so not typical. And we live in this immediate gratification society. But I love what you said, and what you've said several times is, look, it took me 7 years to get to where I am. Right. And you're complaining 2 months in. Right. So that's part of what we deal with.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, true. But you know what? So like more, humorous than that is the fact that where technology is now compared to where it was when I started. Like I have a coaching student that literally he just finished his first year. He did 106 deals, and it was strictly circle prospecting. There was no social media or sphere or any of that stuff. He called 200 people a day on RedX, and then he met 50 people a week at Kroger, which is a grocery store, a week. Like he made it a point to call 200 people and meet 50 people a week and just hand his business cards out at a grocery store. That's it. And he sold 106 properties. Now, how did he do that when it took me 7 years, whatever? It's because technology has shrunk. The time it takes you to do things and communicate with the amount of people you can communicate has shrunk so much. It used to take me 15 hours to look up, per person, copying and pasting addresses, 100 people. And then another 8 hours or so to dial those 100 numbers with my finger. Whereas a dialer, you can look up and call a couple hundred people in a couple hours.
Right.
And so that's just one example. I mean, social media, there's just so many ways compared to when I started real estate that you can speed the process up if you take advantage of it. And that's the problem. Nobody's taking advantage of this incredible advances in technology and communication that we've had over the last 5 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. We hear a lot of people say, I really haven't kept up with technology and I don't even know where to start. I don't know what to post on Facebook. I don't know. And that's another whole set of fears that they have that they need to overcome. And we tell them, we can teach you how to use a platform in 30 minutes. It's just the click here, do this, do that. You need to know, first of all, what makes you different, what sets you apart. So you know what your message is going to be. What are you teaching people? What are you helping people with? Who are you helping? How are you helping them? And once you know those things, it becomes so much easier to communicate. And that takes a lot of the fear out of it, because a lot of people don't want to pick up the phone or even post something because they're sitting there for 30 minutes wondering what they're going to say.
Yeah.
Well, a couple things. I mean, a lot of agents are just posting something on Facebook and then waiting on the phone to ring. So, that's a big problem. Another thing is the reason why you don't know what to post on Facebook is because you're not posting anything on Facebook.
Right.
You got it. You have to post
Start somewhere.
you have to post on social media to figure out what to post on social. You have to figure out by posting and seeing how people react to what you're posting, you know, before you really know what to post.
Exactly.
So it's like chicken and egg. Like what comes first? You're going to know how to do it, or you need to know how to do it. I mean, it's just start just posting stuff that you don't know if it's good or not, you know, and just post a bunch of stuff, and then you'll figure out what to post, you know, and then start posting what you figured out you're supposed to post. I mean, it's not a hard process. The problem is everybody overthinks it, and then they're scared to start.
And then scared to start doing it, and then not being consistent after you start. Yeah, those are so important.
That's a whole other podcast there. If you're scared,
you bet it is. We'll tackle it with you too.
That is a fact.
Yeah. So going back to your own story, Ricky, was there any particular experience or even person in your life that helped you to overcome those fears that you're talking about? You know, the fears you continue to look for each time you overcome them. Anything that comes to mind, or anyone?
Not really. I mean, it's just, I can't really pinpoint anything particularly, but you know, when I was really little, I say little, by the time I was, you know, probably 12 or so, you know, my dad owned a roofing company, and I roofed houses with him forever, you know, until I was in real estate. And there were some big, like 5-story roofs that were real steep roofs, you know, and he had me come up on those roofs just to sit there and watch, not to work, you know, just being up on those roofs. And they were on the beach. I live on the beach, and the wind was blowing. It was scary. But you know, that little feeling in the bottom of my stomach, you know, yeah, it was scary and stuff. I was tied off, but that was my first taste of real fear, you know, back then. And that's the same feeling I get, you know, before I speak to 1,000 people, or before when I was starting to, you know, make calls. It's the same thing. You know, you get that feeling in your stomach, and you just are scared, you know? And so I think that was kind of the beginning stages of me learning how to deal with fear and tackle fear head on. And, you know, by the time I was 14 or so, I was roofing houses, actually doing the work. And, you know, there wasn't too much I was scared of in terms of heights, you know, by that time, you know. So that was a pretty cool experience. And looking back on it, that might have been kind of the beginning stages of me learning how to deal with fear and, you know, conquer fear and keep going and progress, you know. Because I mean, anything in life is you're going to be scared to take anything where you're trying to go to the next level. You're going to be scared to take that step.
Sure.
I don't care where you are, who you are, what you are. The funny thing is every top producer, every successful person was scared in the beginning. Every single one of them.
Sure.
Like even the ones that are fearful and just go for it and just make it happen, they were still scared. You know, they just had something in them that made them just go with and just disregard the fear and just plow right through it. But the fear was still there, you know. And so people, I think, take fear and they think, this is just me, or, you know, am I the only one that feels like this? Because I see all these successful people making calls. Why am I so scared to make calls? Well, they've been doing it for a long time, but they felt exactly the way you felt, that you feel right now. They felt exactly the way you feel right now when they started. And that's what people need to know is that everybody starts in the same place. We all have to go through the same battles with ourselves mentally and through fear. And, you know, we have to overcome, you know, all these obstacles and you know, we just have to, you know, fight through that stuff. But nobody has like a free ticket to success, you know, like
that's right.
So true.
Everybody has to go through the same stuff. You know, sure, if you win the lottery, but if you win the lottery, you are screwed. Like, number one, if you're going to write a check bigger than you ever wrote before for taxes, and that's going to really flip you out, then, you know, you're going to be sitting on this big pile of money you never had, not knowing what to do with it. You're going to make a lot of bad decisions.
Yep.
You know? So you can be an overnight success if you get lucky and win the lottery, but I would say that's not a success. Like true success is built over time, doing the little things every day that add up to be huge, and just conquering your fears every day, just pushing yourself through to conquer those fears.
I would agree 100%. I heard it said that for something to be successful, it has to be repeatable, right? You have to be able to do it again. Like if you can't do it again, it was just good fortune, and that's the way you got to look at it. So, and it all starts like you went at the beginning when you said that, it's like different stages, and it's like taking those steps. And the key to it is taking that first step, of course.
I was charging in the beginning, okay? And I tried all kinds of different business models. And what I realized was that, there were so many agents taking a look at my program, but I was only capturing about less than 1% of people who actually would pay and go deeper into the program. And so, it was like out of 300 people, 1 or 2 would actually sign up. So I thought, 300 people actually need help here, but I'm not able to help them because I'm charging $20 or something stupid. And so I was like, I'm going to open up the floodgates because I actually want to make a difference in the industry, and actually make a big impact. See, the whole purpose of Zero to Dime is to make a huge impact on the industry and reduce the failure rate. And there's no way I'm going to do that if I'm charging agents. And see, because if you look at all the big time coaches that charge, they have a lot of people who hate them, because they do, because you go in there, you pay, and then you don't sell any more property or whatever. Sure, there's some success stories, but what's the majority? The majority of people aren't going to put the work in. And then who are they going to blame? They're going to blame the coach that they paid thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to. And so, my thing is how am I going to beat the number one coach? Like how do I gauge that? How do I know that I'm winning? I gauge it on the fact that more people love me. See what I'm saying?
Sure, of course.
And through that is success. And that's how I gauge if I'm winning or not. And through that is success, because all the people, like once you get into the game that I'm playing, which is make the whole world love you because you love them more than they love you, then you're in this world where every time you go speak at an event, people are banging the doors down to try to get in there, to talk to you, to shake your hand, to take a picture, to sign the book or whatever. Every time you come out with a new book, you sell thousands of copies the first day. Every time you come up with a new thing or whatever. And so it turns into a business, right? But it came from the fact that you didn't try to charge people for, see, I think in today's world, this is the way of the future. You shouldn't have to pay for knowledge. And then other coaches have come up to me and say, what's this don't pay for coaching thing, Ricky? You need to elaborate. And I'm like, well, yeah, there's some good coaches out there. I understand. But what about accountability? I'm like, well, I have an accountability program in my program. I said, but look, if someone needs accountability, like somebody to hold their hand through the day, you have to be self-motivated. You have to want this. You have to, be in a position where you're not going to let fear get in the way. You're not going to let work get in the way. You're not going to let anything get in the way between you and your goals and what you're trying to do to provide for your family. Winners just find a way to win. Like, how did you do it, Ricky? I don't know. By doing it. By doing it.
Yes.
It's like, how? By doing it, and that's how winners are. Winners just do it and they make it happen. And the losers make excuses, So it's just the bottom line. You're either winning or you're making excuses of why you didn't win. That's it.
Yes.
In the middle, there's no, this or that, second place trophies. It's you win or you're making excuses.
That's true. That's true. So as you were developing and growing your business, were there any mentors that you really looked to, for example?
I never really did. I mean, I just took a little bit from everybody,
Mm-hmm.
I've always kind of been like a loner kind of deal because nobody, like, there's plenty of people more skilled than me. I mean, plenty of people more talented, but there's very few people that I can find that are on the same work level as me, the work ethic level. And I just like find myself just by myself working, you know, and it's just like nobody's willing to put the work in I'm willing to put in. So it's hard to really align myself with someone. Now, all the coaches, like coaches and gurus and all that stuff, they just want a bunch of money. You know, they just want a bunch of money and then to call you every now and then and ask you how it's going. Oh, it's going great. Cool. Here, where's my $1,000? Here you go. Thanks for calling and asking me how I'm doing today. You know what I'm saying? It just, that has never made sense to me. And so I've never went down that road of, you know, having a coach. Or I had a coach for like 4 months when I made 600,000 in 2015. I wanted to make $1 million the next year. And by March, I saw it wasn't going to happen. I became deeply frustrated and I broke down and hired a coach because I thought he was going to take me to the next level. And everything I thought about coaches was exactly what it was. You know, it just wasn't, you know, and that was part of the reason why I started to drift towards doing coaching and trying to make something affordable and now even free, is because I saw what all these coaches are doing. You know, it's like they're taking 1980s, you know, strategies, charging people thousands of dollars, scaring you into thinking you got to have them. And then agents are turning around and taking credit cards out, putting themselves in debt. And the only thing motivating at that point is all the debt the coach is putting you in, not what the coach is telling you to do. You know what I mean? So it's just a crazy world out there. And I'm trying to flip that sucker upside down, you know?
Well, you were making a big splash in it. You really are. But, you know, it comes from authenticity. Like that's part of the thing that we like about you so much. Like it's just dead on bare bones. This is what it is. And this is the reason that you do it. And I find it comes from the heart. So
like I could put this sucker up. I could have it all like Peter Paul and stuff. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm working, you know what I'm saying? You ever seen Albert Einstein? Like that sucker didn't have a comb, you know what I
mean? He had an egg beater though. Yeah. That's what it looks like he had.
Did that. He did that. And if anybody wants to meet him, I got a boot man in Dahlonega that looks just like him. So different podcast for a different day. But so listen, so I know what you're going to go crazy over this next question right here. But so should people be fearful of their competitors?
What competitors?
Right.
Bravo.
Yeah. We always ask this because we hear it. We hear it from people. People are like, well, you know, I've got other producers in my office and, you know, well, I mean, I don't want to upset them and what would they think and stuff like that. And we're like, what are you talking about? Like, this is your business. Build your business. You should not even be caring that there's anybody else around you. Like, you know,
upset them how?
Yeah. Oh, well, you know, like, especially in the branding business, you know, we get a lot of that. People are like, oh, well, I don't want to upset my competitors. If I say that I'm the best in the region, or if I say I'm the best real estate agent, I say, we're like in their marketing and their messaging and stuff. We're like, are you crazy? I mean, is that not what you're aspiring to be? Is the absolute best? And what do you care? Are you going to are they going to feed your family? Are they going to give you, you know, but I find, and I think you do too, if you talk with people on a personal basis, that a lot of people are messed up with where they stand in the rankings against competitors and other people, what they're going to think. And I think that that's wrong.
Well, you know, I mean, it is, man. It's, you know, the thing is you're dealing with the industry where 90% of the agents fail in the first 5 years. And they literally are it's just what you said, man. They're just scared to do anything. They're scared what other people are going to think. The biggest thing is they're scared what other people are going to think. The reason why they don't make calls because they're scared what the person they're going to call is going to think. The reason they don't do branding is because they're scared what the competitors are going to think. The reason they don't post on Facebook is because they're scared what their friends and family are going to think. So they're worried about everybody else, and all of them people don't care nothing about them. They're not even studying.
That's true.
They're not even studying them at all whatsoever. They're a blimp on the radar. And so you're putting all this, you know, all this thought into what all these people that don't care about you thinks. And that's the reason why you're going to fail.
Yeah.
Because you're scared what people that don't matter thinks. It's nuts.
It is. It's crazy.
It's insane, bro. It's insane.
Oh, yeah. It is absolutely insane.
Definitely misguided for sure.
Okay, so we're going to give you the floor here for a second, Ricky. I want you to talk about Zero to Diamond coaching program, your podcast, your books. Tell people how they can reach you, because we want to help you grow that another 5,000 today.
The best way to like reach out to me and communicate is Instagram. I answer every DM on Instagram. That's the best way to ask questions and or this or that, or if you want me to come speak or do a Zoom call with your company or whatever. Instagram at Ricky Carruth, the best for that. 0to diamond.com is the coaching program. Okay. So there's a 90-day action plan. There's a 28-day challenge. There's live training with me several times a month. There's full access to me. There's a Facebook group. That's where we hold each other accountable. We post our results every day. There's scripts. There's videos of me making calls. There's my entire game plan is laid out for everything that I do in my business, and I'm always tweaking it. Like moving forward, text is the new email. And so I'm working on a platform right now where my coaching students can mass text their clients, different things, market reports and new listings and stuff like that, and start building their database full of their clients' text messaging, contact information. And so like I'm always adding tools for the agents to use that I'm using in my business and trying to stay ahead of the curve. That's one thing that I think is really good for agents that want to connect with me and get in my coaching program and follow me on social medias, because I'm always trying to be ahead of the curve. So I'm way ahead of the curve on this free coaching thing. Nobody's really doing it yet. They will be, but they're not really doing it yet. I'm way ahead of the curve on TikTok, right? TikTok's big moving forward. I'm ahead of the curve there. I was behind the curve on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I was behind the curve on that. I learned my lesson. Now I'm going to be ahead of the curve on stuff moving forward. The reason why I was so behind the curve on that is because I was doing so well. I didn't need it to sell properties. To me, voice to voice is the reason why technology won't replace real estate agents. So, I maintained my relationships and did what I needed to do to sell properties. I could literally not have any social media now and continue selling properties. Well, email, email is the big thing for me, email and phone calls. That's the core of my real estate business. But I've added social media since I started to, learn how to use it in the coaching world. But man, it's so fascinating where the world's going, and the opportunities. There's always an opportunity. So yeah, zerotodiamond.com, YouTube, Instagram, the whole 9 yards. And I'm just here to help. So if there's anything I can do for anybody listening, feel free to reach out and let me know what I can do.
You got it. Yep. We encourage you guys to follow Ricky on every platform you can, because we've heard from a lot of agents who absolutely love what he brings to the table and go crazy over it. So we endorse it, love it, and encourage you to do it. And also, if you guys have any questions about your brand or want to discuss that with us, just go to discussyourbrand.com and we'll put some of our team members on the phone with you, and let's talk about your challenges and your goals.
So we say prosperity favors the bold, folks. So be bold, especially with your brand. And thank you, Miss Tanya.
Thank you, Ricky. It has been an honor and a pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing more of your story with us.
Enjoyed it so much, guys. Good luck to you, and we'll talk to you soon.
You got it. See you next time on Fearless Friday Night.